The COVID vaccine certainly can't come soon enough, but they are coming, and there's a hurdle of convincing Americans that they will be safe to take. Many are expressing hesitancy, particularly in some Black and Latino communities. Our national correspondent Jason Carroll spoke to residents of one of the hardest hit towns in Alabama on what is fueling that distrust.
Hobson City, Alabama. The term city used loosely, it's really a small town. Population about 800.
We're a small community, small enough to know everybody and everybody's cat.
Hobson City's mayor says small enough to know that when it comes to trusting in a COVID-19 vaccine, many people here feel the way she does.
I'm reluctant to take the vaccine.
Wait, you yourself are reluctant to take
I am reluctant.
Most of those who live in Hobson City are African American. Distrust of the medical community runs deep. The town, located about 100 miles from Tuskegee, Alabama, home to one of the darkest chapters in American medical history. In the 1930s, government doctors conducted experiments on black men, leaving them untreated for syphilis until the 1970s, so doctors could monitor how it affected them. Alabama is taking a beating from the coronavirus, the state's 14-day positivity rate at just over 29%. In Calhoun County, where Hobson City sits, the rate is 37%. Still, older residents such as Joe Cunningham have such little faith in doctors, he was reluctant to go in for a COVID-19 test, and any discussion about a vaccine is off the table.
I'm afraid to take the test.
Why not, Mr. Cunningham?
I don't know. I just don't understand it. I'd like to know who it's coming from.
I'm going to have to convince my father because he don't know what this vaccine is about. As black people, that's all we know is to trust the Lord and trust God. We have to convince our family that this is the right thing to do because this will help slow it down and help us to survive.
Distrust in communities of color is not just a small-town problem, it's nationwide. A study conducted in September exploring the issue in Black and Latino communities found just 14% of Black people and only 34% of Latinos trust a vaccine will be safe.
It's almost to me like a fear. Like I have a phobia of needles. I'm almost at that point where I have a phobia of doctors.
Carmen Bailey was diagnosed with COVID-19 in April. Bailey says she avoided medical help because she feels she has been poorly treated by doctors in the past. Now the grandmother of 3 suffers from adverse effects with her heart, lungs, and kidneys.
Some days I can barely walk, and I'm tired of hurting. I don't know what to do.
What she will not do is take a vaccine.
We don't know any kind of side effects from them. So I just really feel like at this point where it's people that's going to take that vaccine as guinea pigs.
You really think they're guinea pigs?
I do. I just feel like we don't know enough.
Dr. Margaret Larkins Pettigrew and her husband, Chenis Pettigrew Jr., know the health community has a number of hurdles to overcome to reach communities of color.
When you talk about trust, you're looking at that tug of war. So, do I trust the science because they're telling me this is what's going to help me, but I have a lived experience that says that this may not be so because I have been deprived of other things.
The Pettigrews come from a place of experience professionally and personally. Both lived and worked in Tuskegee for a time. Both are participating in a COVID-19 vaccine trial currently underway. And the couple is advocating for trust in the science behind a vaccine.
We thought that it was important to make this contribution and to represent the community that we're part of in a way that says you can do this and you can take this vaccine.
Was there any hesitation at all?
I had no hesitation. I see what happens when people of color are not included in studies. And that is the downside of things.
Back in Hobson City, Mayor McCrory says she has had a change of heart, but it had little to do with science.
I sat across from a young man who came in to purchase a grave for his 59-year-old wife who died of COVID-19 last Wednesday. And if anything makes me change my mind, that changed my mind. His wife's grave will be right over there in our cemetery. 59 years old.
He changed your mind?
He changed my mind.
Jason Carroll, CNN, Hobson City, Alabama.